Well, hello everybody. I'm Wes Allen with DM Tales, and I am here for an interview that I've actually wanted to do for a really long time, and it's really cool that I have an opportunity to do this now. I am on with some folks from Monte Cook Games who have been very kind to me throughout my journey on this channel, and they're at Gen Con Setup Day right now. So everybody say hello. How are you both? Do you want to introduce yourselves to our wonderful chat folks here?
Certainly. I'm Kate. I'm the marketing manager for Monte Cook Games, and I love my job. And
I'm Charles. I'm one of the partners and the COO at Monte Cook Games, and also love the job. But it's the setup for Gen Con is a couple of grueling days that were preceded by about a grueling week of getting everything ready and prepped. So.
I cannot imagine. And we're going to talk about your Gen Con experience in just a little bit. I am really happy to have you both on today. Thank you for making time on Gen Con Setup Day to do a stream. So hopefully we'll get a shout out for all of that. And Charles, every time I talk with you, you're always in an interesting setting. Because I guess the last time you were in the car the last time we talked, which is kind of fun.
Right.
Which is
driving back down to Kansas City. Yeah, it was pouring down rain, and the rain got so loud. At one point, I was afraid we weren't even going to be able to continue the conversation.
Well, I'm glad that we did, and I'm glad that we're here. We do have some folks who are watching. Someone from Denmark is actually watching. So, hello, Samuel. So I want to start off with just a couple of general questions so folks can get to know you a little bit. I start off with a question that I literally ask to everyone, which is, this is a very strange hobby. How did you get into it? Like, what drew you into it?
Oh, that's interesting. You want to do that one?
Sure, I'll start. I bet I go the furthest back, but maybe not. I have an aunt of mine who's a favorite, and she's always been, when I was a kid growing up, always great with gifts. And so she was the first one who, like, for 1 year sent me The Hobbit as a Christmas gift.
Awesome.
Like in 1977 or something like that, when I was 12. And the next year it was the box set for The Lord of the Rings. And then in 1979, it was the blue box D&D basic set.
Oh, you got the Holmes basic set. Okay.
Yeah. And so that was Christmas is 1979. So that's when I started playing, like pretty much that day. It just blew my mind. And so I've played RPGs as well as many other categories of hobby games from back when it was a highly specialist hobby all the way into today, and still love doing it.
Awesome. You do have me beat by one version because I started with Moldvay. So, which is good. And Kate, how'd you get involved in all this?
Again, must have been like 7 or 8 or something, and my best friend, he's still one of my oldest friends, he came round and said, my uncle's run this game for us, it's amazing, you need to play it. And because we're like still 7 and 8, right, we half built it, half played it from what he remembered. And he came around with a module, and it was Dwellers of the Forbidden City, an AD&D module, which he then bought me a copy of for my 30th birthday, which was very cute. Some considerable time later.
Did you say 78?
No, not 78. No, that must be 1980 something.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Time is an illusion.
Time has no meaning. So
yeah, but again, just massively hooked, because it was like, oh, so all the things that I would shout at the TV for because they're doing the wrong decision, suddenly you get to make those decisions. Like, this is brilliant.
Oh, that's
absolutely
awesome.
Brilliant. Completely hooked. I've been ever since. That was a time ago.
I got hooked in same kind of concept. Like, we used to have friends with like those giant Tinker toys, and we used to make swords and have fights. And I was like, oh wait, we get to do that. Okay, I'll do that. And I just got sucked in. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so
mine was basic sets for Christmas and things, and my dad bought us D&D manuals, AD&D manuals. It was very cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it when the parents actually get involved in helping. So even my parents had no clue, and they still bought me stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
Charles.
remember scraping to buy the 3 AD&D books, and I started with the DMG because it was the most expensive. It was $15. Monster Manual and Handbook were $12. So I decided to save up for the biggest one first.
Smart.
Very smart. Did you manage to read the entire AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide?
Oh yeah, and I also read the entirety of the Silmarillion.
Well, I've done that.
No.
That's just normal.
Your daughter has, though.
I-
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
I will say, when you compare the two, High Gygaxian is a lot harder to read than Tolkien.
It's fair.
It's
That's
close,
fair, yeah.
but it's a lot harder to read. And you both work for Monte Cook Games. Obviously, I have the logo in the corner there. When did you both start working for Monte Cook?
So I've known Monty for a very, very long time. We were really good friends with Monty way back when I first went to WotC in 2000, I guess it was.
Okay.
2000, 1990. And we then, we were living in Seattle, Tammy and I, and we moved over to England, which is actually where I first met Kate many, many years ago. And then we did other things and so on and so forth. And we had small kids. Actually, when we moved to England, we had a babe in arms and a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So Tammy, between living overseas, where she wasn't on a work visa and having small kids and whatnot, she was out of the workforce for a while, and she was literally beginning to think, as the kids were moving through elementary school and beyond, no, maybe it's about time to start looking for something else. And at that time, Monty and Shauna had done the crowdfunding campaign for Numenera,
Okay.
which blew away everybody's expectations. At that time, there had never been an RPG that had done a 6-figure crowdfunding campaign. They did, so it blew their expectations away as well. And suddenly they went from like, this is a cool project we want to make, to, I guess we're founding a company because we need some infrastructure. If nothing, even if we don't go beyond this, like to serve our backers and get product out to everybody and so on and so forth. So again, we were friends with Monty from way back, and when Tammy heard that Monty was looking for somebody part-time to help out, she said, oh, that'd be great. That'd be a fantastic thing. And Monty snatched her up right away. So she's employee number 1.
Oh, wow.
I was actually, for a brief period of my life, for about 1.5 years, that I was outside of the game industry. That's where I was. But that company that I was with closed down, and then I was looking for a job. And so Monty heard about that through Tammy, and Monty was like, oh, really? So then I came aboard as a partner and as the second person who was not Monty and Shauna in the company.
Oh, wow.
And then so not from the beginning, but from about 1 year after that Kickstarter. So about the time that 2013, when Monty and Shauna began that process of ramping MCG into a genuine company, and as opposed to a project that the two of them were working on for a cool game.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool. I did not know that Monte Cook Games got its start because like the Kickstarter was almost too successful and they needed something to be the vehicle for it. That was really an interesting little tidbit you just dropped.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put any words in their mouths, but basically what it amounted to is they did not set out to found a company. They set out to publish a cool idea and make a really, really good game with that beautiful Kieran Yenner art and a big, thick core book and all these things about it. We're going to make this really, really awesome game. And then it was just this huge runaway success. And they were kind of like, well, what are we going to do next?
I love that idea. That's really cool. Well, you were a friend of Monte Cook, so that answers the next question. But for Kate, what drew you to work for Monte Cook Games? Because there's a bunch of game companies out there. Why Monte Cook Games?
So I've got quite an eclectic job history, because my degree is biology, which has nothing to do with any of these kind of things, and I have done all sorts of stuff in the past. I've traded government bonds in the city, worked at the Tower of London, worked in the film industry, all of this kind of thing. And I eventually got into marketing, because what I like is a buffet kind of approach to work. You get to do loads of different things, lots of stuff happening. It's never quite the same. And even if it is the same things, it's different enough within that. So I was actually marketing manager for UK Games Expo, which is the UK's largest hobby game convention.
Okay.
And it's Europe's second largest. It was the world's third largest, but I think PAX Unplugged is probably thing. So it's about 50,000 people.
I would say it's bigger than PAX.
Bigger
Well,
than
I don't
PAX.
know. Maybe I don't know the numbers, but yeah, it's half the size of Gen Con. So it's one of the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
50,000 people there last year, which was
Wow.
50,000 units. Wow. Yeah. So I was marketing manager with them, and that was an amazing job. Absolutely thoroughly lovely people. hugely brilliant. But then I moved up to Manchester, and I got a job with an agency. So I've done agency side for like big corporates and stuff, doing their marketing. And then a friend of ours said, MCG are looking for a marketing manager. And I was like, I'm not looking for a job, but I do like MCG, you know. And so I pinged Charles and said, would it be weird if I applied? And he's like, no.
As I mentioned, we'd known each other from when we lived in England. So
yeah.
Okay.
And because it's got to be the right fit and things, right? And he's like, no, it would not be weird. Please send me your CV.
So, that's awesome.
So yeah, and that was last year. So yeah, I joined unofficially.
Now, you know,
joined
almost
unofficially in January.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so this is the other thing. They were like, yeah, just do like a few contracty things for hours. So January, February, and March, because I have a 3-month notice period at my last job.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, January's always super quiet, and then last January was not super quiet.
Yeah, that was the
OGL.
Which you know, really was a huge opportunity for us, because zillions of people were like, oh, I've heard this is a cool game. I'd like to try something different from it. And so suddenly we were like
inundated with all sorts of stuff.
Did not have a quiet January.
No, it was a very, very good steep learning curve. It was great. Since last year.
Yep, I'm actually one of those people who is like, there. But I was already out of 5e, but I'm like, I was going to do that anyway, so that became my birthday money. So the OGL definitely launched. Yes, there was like, it was just nice, a quiet winter. No. What was it like just from a shipping standpoint at that point when the OGL dropped and everybody started buying everything else?
So, I mean, it was definitely a huge spike for us. We did, for Cypher System Rulebook sales in general, we did like a couple years worth of sales in a month.
Wow.
It was fantastic. It was great. But we also do all of our crowdfunding fulfillments in-house. So we are used to having something happen where suddenly we need to ship 10,000 books or 5,000 books.
Oh, okay.
We have that infrastructure. So we were able to handle it from the logistical side. The real key was, it just so happened, we're casting our mind back 18 months. It just so happened we had a Cypher System crowdfunding campaign launching at the end of January anyway.
Okay.
And suddenly, from sort of a routine campaign that was going to fund some cool books and whatnot, to being able to show the world the Cypher System when people were really paying attention, just suddenly meant we were just, our heads were spinning with all the things we were doing to get the word out and so on. And that campaign probably did double what we would have expected of it otherwise.
Yeah.
And that was fascinating from an outside point of view. So I'd always been on the backing, the Kickstarters and now BACKERKIT campaigns, and instead on the inside you're just like, yeah, we're 30 seconds in, we have a first backer. It's basically people through credit cards, and just watching the numbers go up and the joy of people saying, I backed this is awesome, watching them share it, watching them give love. It was really, really tremendous.
So I mean, that's really cool. But is there that back end of dread going, how on earth are we going to actually fulfill all this when it comes out as the numbers keep going up, or are you used to that by now?
No, we're pretty used to it. The places where those numbers get scary are not. This is on a USB-C, so I don't have to go over. Sorry, hotspot's telling us it's battery as well. The problems are not. It's things like Old Gods of Appalachia, the Magnus Archive, those things which have an extra zero on the end are challenges. But we have a really robust system, so it's just a matter of scaling up and making sure we're ready for it.
I have to say I was impressed at how fast you were getting books out when, like, Paizo, for example, I mean, they were 6 months behind at that point, and you were still shipping out Cypher core rule books, because I ordered directly from you, and I was blown away at how fast you're able to do it. So
Tammy runs the warehouse and runs that entire process, and she is just a wizard of that sort of stuff. And she's built this really great set of resources in terms of, not just the physical resources and the processes, but the personnel and so on and so forth. I mean, I don't want to blow my horn too much, but I mean, I think for a company of our scale, we are arguably the best at what we do in that. I mean, I don't think we're the best at what we do in a lot of things, but that's one category. It's not just about making great games. It's not just about making beautiful games. It's not just about making products that are accessible and cool and fun, but also just our systems for getting stuff done. I think we best in class.
I do. You're the binding of your books is really interesting because it's so different than what everybody else uses. And I actually, because I'm like, wait, there's signatures, but there's also glue, and I was really confused. I actually wrote to Monte Cook going, "What binding is this? I've never seen it." And so I learned it was notch case binding. That was fun, and I think that was maybe one of the things that really helped to go. Very nice. All right, so now we got to know you a little bit, and go ahead, Charles. And we know you're getting.
We're just getting a thing so we don't fall over. Sorry.
the joys of doing remote work, right? We've got a little bit to know about you, a little bit about the company, but today is Gen Con setup day, and this is where you are right now for folks who don't know. Where can folks find you at the convention for folks who are already there?
So we are on the Hoosier Concourse, and we are room 132, and we've got 2 honking great big door archways built outside with Monte Cook Games branding, and it's right opposite the exhibit hall. So if you're coming in from, I think it's Western Avenue, where they're building all of the card bits and pieces in the foyer in the lobby, then we are in there and we're just on the right hand side. We'll be past the Lorcana queue. And we're right next door to Lorcana, and then there's us. We've got 2 rooms, big old double room, and do a quick whiz round, or is that going to mess with your setup?
That's cool. And are there any cool events you guys are running during the convention, or is it pretty much just set up a shop? Oh, look at that. We're going away. I'm flying. So
very cool.
Nice space.
So we're doing demos of games and stuff. We're running about 150 games, I think.
180 or 190.
Is it 190?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then we also have the store as well. So this is everything that you can buy online, plus a pile of stuff that you cannot buy online, because they are sort of a bit more of the exclusive type bits and pieces. So very cool.
Very cool. So you guys are keeping busy. And after, so this is, I'm assuming this is your largest convention setup out of all the conventions Gen Con is?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Where are you? Go ahead, kid. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Stuff, didn't we, on the way? No, so
you broke up a little
our
bit.
truck on the way here was absolutely rammed with all the stuff.
Sorry. So we don't have all of our infrastructure here for internet and whatnot. So hopefully it's not too bad. We had to move the hotspot over to get it power someplace else.
Hey, we will see what happens. If it goes kablooey, we'll understand why. You're just working remote. What other conventions are you planning to go through this convention season? Like, what other places are people going to be able to meet Monte Cook Games while they're out at their different cons?
So I think the best con to go to. I mean, so Gen Con, of course, is huge. Wonderful. It's Gen Con. It's its own thing, right? But Con is a really special con, a mid-sized convention. It punches above its weight in terms of the stuff that you can do. But that's the one where all of MCG comes to it, right? So here we have, the crew that's running the show. Bruce is here this year. Javier's here. We'll be here as a guest of Gen Con, but we'll be hanging out with us as well. But we don't necessarily bring in all of MCG to Gen Con.
Okay.
But GameWorld everybody comes. And we have this really awesome lounge that we sponsor. So our booth area has games and our store and whatnot, but also has sofas and a bar and ice cream at the bottom of the stairs. It's just a fantastic show. It's really laid back. So that is probably the best place if you want to come hang out with MCG, play some games and have a good time. That is the most laid back and fun show.
Okay.
We also do PAX Unplugged. Games
UK Games Expo.
UK Games Expo.
And we'll be at
back in June.
Yeah, and we'll be at Dragon Meet in London
Cool.
as well.
Awesome.
In, end of last day in November. So
Gotcha. And Charles, were you at PAX Unplugged last year?
Yes.
Because I think I did meet you when I was going through the floor. But I think so it was a nice booth that you had. That's like around the corner from me, so I like to go to that one. I'm kind of excited that you just mentioned that GameHoCon is the big one, because I applied for a sabbatical grant. I'm hoping next year we'll be able to go to Gen Con and GameHoCon, and you have a lounge with a bar, so I might just live there. That should be fun. Should be good. Um, and then I'm trying to look at my questions. I'm so I was called out to dad mode at the right before we were get to do this, so I'm a little bit off kilter today. Um,
Okay.
so this past spring, you launched Cypher Tools, which is a really very ambitious suite of tools. Um, it has, among other things, it's got the character generator, which is really really cool. What's been the first response from the community about those things, and what can people expect to find if they want to delve into them?
So it's been astonishingly positive from the community. Um, and so a friend of mine has basically gone through and thinks he's made every single possible combination of things, and he goes back every couple of days and finds more, which is terrific. But folks that we don't necessarily know, they're like, oh, we can do this, we can do that, we're trying to use this, and because we have specific feedback on it, if there's things, and that's the other lovely thing, as part of the feedback, people have got things that aren't working because it's an open beta test, and what we
Mm-hmm.
want to do is get it into the community. We would like everyone to jump up and down on it and break it, because we want it to be jumped up and down on and not break, because we want it to be robust and usable. So it's things that aren't working presently, which get fixed immediately. There are things which are cool or interesting, and there's stuff that people use it for.
Okay.
And we're collating all of the information. So there's like a next iteration coming that the chaps have been working on, which has got a lot of these. Well, I do this in my campaign, I do that. Oh, a lot of people do that. Let's make sure that that's the thing that we're doing, because we want that feedback from the community, because it's the community who are using it. It has to be a workable and helpful tool for everyone.
Yeah, and I'll also point out as a gamer and a member of the community, right? Like
Mhm.
like I ran a game a couple weeks ago for some friends, and I was like, okay, here's the setting, here's the things. Go into the Cypher tools and build your characters. I mean, we also love it. We built some of our pre-gens for events through it. So like even within the walls of MCG, it's a great thing. We love it,
It's
and
really
we
really
have
well
been.
done.
Thank you. To date, the content that's in it is all the CSOL content.
Mhm.
So everything that goes into the system open license then goes into the character builder. So we don't have any of the proprietary stuff. We don't have Numenera. We don't have Old Gods of Appalachia per se.
Mhm.
Although I'll go a pro tip there in just a second. But that's all in there. And we've been very aggressive about a book comes out and we immediately get it into the Cypher system reference document.
Mhm.
So when Rust came out, when It's Only Magic came out a month ago, we immediately within a week or two had that content within the CSRD, which also meant that we could then start integrating it into the tool. So we're trying to be very as broad as possible with the content with it and keeping it fresh. And of course, every time we bring a new source book, there's also new coding, because source books also bring in, well, here's a focus that works in an odd way, and now there's got to be made to work properly. So it's a lot of work, but we're getting to where we really like it. Now, here's the pro tip. When I said you can't use it to make an Old Guys of Appalachia character or whatever, that's actually not true. What you do, because you can edit a character however you want.
Mhm.
So you build a character that is as close as you get with a character builder, and then you go in and you just change the text. You're like, oh, I've got this special ability. It's not the actual special ability, but I've got my rule book here. I just changed the text for that special ability into that, and so on. So I have actually used it to build Old Gods characters as well.
I've tried to do it
You
with
can do
Numenera as well. It is a little bit difficult,
Yeah.
but you can get it done.
And you
Which
can
is nice.
either choose a
Right.
technology setting with magic flavor. You can choose a magic setting with technology flavor.
Mhm.
You can do futuristic
Right.
and then add these things
Yeah.
in. So because it's like that staged process,
Yeah.
you can tailor it even to the sort of Numenera you want to run. Do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? That kind of.
And so as Kate points out, this is essentially in a beta phase, and what we're doing right now, sticking with the CSOL or the CSRD content, is it allows us to keep the tool for free and build it to be great. Ultimately, it will have to be monetized somehow, So I don't want anybody to think that we're pulling a bait and switch, but the idea is to make the tool great, and then in the future there might be like one version of it that covers all the CSOL content, and then you pay a few bucks a month or whatever, and you get content for stuff that's proprietary or whatnot. We'll work that out. We haven't figured out exactly what that's going to be.
Gotcha.
The key point right now is building a tool that is really, really freaking awesome and world class, and
worth anything that might come in the future.
Yeah, and then we can once we have it at that state, we can expand it into the properties that we will need to monetize in order to make it to be able to do that.
Gotcha. That was my next question. So you've answered that. But for folks who don't know, what is the CSOL and what is the CSRD? Because it's a very generous reality that you have put out into the gaming world that I don't think a lot of people are quite aware of.
Yeah, so I mean, the CSOL, Cypher System Open License, which is an open license to make games or game materials or basically anything you want using the Cypher System
Mm-hmm.
core rules, well, actually using a great deal of the Cypher System. And what you work from is the Cypher System reference document, which is a document that contains what you're allowed to use. So you don't copy out of our books, you copy out of the CSRD,
Mm-hmm.
which for the most part for rules content is pretty much exactly the same words that are in the book. But it's not just the Cypher System rulebook, the CSR. It's also at this stage, I think it is all of the white books,
Mm-hmm.
all the way up through. It's only Mad Book that came out. So all of the genre books that give you
Mm-hmm.
special rules, character options, and so on for different genres, they are all in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have an enormous amount of stuff. If you want to make a horror game, all of the horror rules that have been written for the Cypher System are available to you through the CSRD.
And we're very happy for you to use this. There's lots of stuff on the website. If you go to the website, it'll lead you to like the proper legalese kind of thing. But there's a lot of frequently asked questions which are in much plainer and more friendly English and things.
Yeah.
So if you want to use bits of it, if you want to do with it, here's what you do, here's what you don't do, and people are using it. If you want to monetize that, that's actually totally cool.
There's no restrictions on how you use it.
Yeah, a friend of ours who's Ancient Al, who's from the Cypher Unlimited. He's funding the Entropic Isle at the moment, which is kind of it's a Cypher System hack, which is inspired by both Gods of the Fall and the Borg universe. So
cool.
Again, you've got this thing, and he's actually funded. Very congratulations, Al. Yeah, so yeah, it's really be able to do that.
Yep.
And it's for folks who don't realize just how generous it is. I mean, you're talking, they have these white books, which are books that are pretty good thickness with things like settings and all this, but the content is in that system reference document, which is to put the extra stuff in is over the top, which I think a lot of folks are not aware of, just how open it is. And I did want you guys to be able to push that. Very, very cool. But I do want, and the reason why we did do this call today is because you're currently doing a new crowdfunding campaign called the Anywhere Door, correct? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And I do have to say, before we talk, any full disclosure, my name appears in the BACKERKIT page, which I actually didn't know until I was starting to create my questions for the interview. I was like, I have to change some things for that. So I did, but I am also a backer for that. So it's fun. But for folks who don't know what it is, what is the Anywhere Door and why should they care?
So the Anywhere Door is the MCG hub that we're going to build on a forthcoming platform called Moonbeam. Best understood, I think, if in a short sentence, as sort of a combination of Twitch and Discord, in the sense that it has a streaming environment and it has a chat environment. They're fully integrated. I think probably the coolest thing. There's many cool things about it. But one of the coolest things is that with a Twitch channel, it's a single user environment, right? So MCG has a Twitch channel. You have a Twitch channel. Cypher Unlimited has a Twitch channel. Within what they call a realm on Moonbeam, the owner of that realm can give streaming permissions to multiple parties.
Gotcha.
So they can then go and permit. So a fan of the Cypher System or MCG's games can go in there at any time, and in theory, there could be 2 or 3 different people streaming at any one time. So they could have the Discord sort of chat sort of experience, and then they could have streamers like yourself that we have given permission to be streamers on the platform, can be there, and they can be streaming. And you don't need, it's not like you have to come to us and say, hey, I want to stream on the MCG channel, can you give me the login credentials for Twitch?
Gotcha.
Once you give permission. Now there's a whole bunch of other features that are really, really cool. We are not building this platform. It's a separate platform, and several other organizations like Gen Con TV, speaking of Gen Con, are one of the ones running the campaign right now. So we're not funding the building of that platform. We didn't have an awful lot of monetary requirements to build our realm and whatnot. So once we funded, because we're funding and heading toward our first stretch goal right now, we didn't need an awful lot of bucks from our backers to make it happen. So at this stage, almost every dollar, in fact, it's even going to be more than that. At this stage, all the money that's coming in from the backers is going toward funds that we have to support streamers.
Gotcha.
And we have created two new funds. One is the new streamer fund. So these are people that are launching a whole new streaming show or whatever, or they're just very small, like they would like to grow, they don't have the resources. One fund for that, and we've got another fund that's going to go to established streamers, and that will be the new streamers fund is basically $500 grants,
Mm-hmm,
just a little block grant. Established streamer fund will be variable amounts depending on what the established streamers need and are doing.
Gotcha.
But we're at this stage, every dollar that comes in, matter of fact, the first stretch goal is going to be a match. So once we hit that stretch goal at 19K, then MCG is going to match everything that the backers put into it.
Oh, neat. Okay.
So, so those funds will grow a lot faster when we hit that point.
And one of the things as well that's doing it is that we want to make sure that we are paying our moderators on the channel, and a lot of those are the Cypher Unlimited chaps who run the most amazing Cypher system community and chat and so on.
I keep on having to erase all my questions because you get to the answers before I actually ask them.
Marketing dumping. We're here to talk about everything.
It's the Cypher Unlimited, for folks who don't know, it's a huge Discord. It's a Facebook page. They do streaming and live streams, which is one of the first times I actually saw your face, Kate, because you were on there talking with the wonderful people, really good community, and they are going to be the moderators for your realm inside Moonbeam. So for folks who have met them or like them, know that you will be in very good hands. Which is I'll have to give them a shout out.
Yeah, doing all this hand in hand with those guys because they are fantastic. They are such great shepherds of the community for MCG. We saw a really cool opportunity here to make a really neat hub, but we absolutely didn't wanted to do it in competition with the CU. We wanted to work with those guys, with Anthony and Al and Dean, who have been just so fantastic for us and for the whole community for all these years. That the chance to work with them to make this really, really cool was just an unbeatable combination for us.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And for folks who the community, it is an independent organization. It's not part of Monte Cook. But if you have a bug to report about Cypher tools, where do you report it? On Cypher Unlimited in their Discord, because the connection is that deep, which I think is really cool. I did have a question from chat. I have a couple questions from chat, but this one is relevant at the moment. Someone pointed out, it sounds cool and wants to know, will it have Roll20 type features? This isn't a virtual tabletop, right? It is just a streaming platform.
Right.
So we're very much aware that we would like to provide tools and things for virtual tabletops and stuff, but what we needed that initial thing of, well, let's make sure people can generate characters and things anyway first.
Okay.
And one of the features of the character builder at the moment is that you can immediately output your character into Foundry. Because it's like just immediately creates that JSON file, put it into Foundry, everything is there, all singing and dancing. We will have that integration with Roll20, but they have been doing a whole bunch of shenanigans themselves. So we're told that around about the fall to winter, they should be able to get that sort of thing.
Yeah, just not to get English versus Americanisms. Cross streams, not shenanigans as in problems, but as they've got a lot going on their plate.
I got that from context. Although the anti-Roll20 crowd is like, they're always... Calm down. It's okay. They're nice people. It's okay. Go ahead, Charles. What you can say?
They're wonderful partners.
Yeah.
But as you point out, it is not a virtual tabletop. It is a streaming platform. So the feature set in that regard is more like Twitch in the sense that it's a place to go see streamers, but it has as a user, you'll much prefer the chat environment that goes along with it because it's organized and user friendly. It's not this stream of multicolored garble that moves so fast you can't tell what's going on, and your ability to if you use tokens or whatever to reward streamers, that whole system is streamlined in a way that is more transparent to you, the user, and more fair to the streamer. There's a bunch of other some great moderation features. There's a lot of other things that are going to create a user environment that you'll really like, as compared to some of the environments in which we currently watch streaming these days.
Yeah, I'm not cool enough to be on Twitch because I can't handle the alarms, and I'm like, stop it, be quiet. I'm old, leave me alone. So
the whole deal with Moonbeam was this is designed to get people who should be streaming and talking about stuff to get people streaming and talking about stuff. You don't have to be massively technologically savvy. You just have to be entertaining, and it's the content that people want. You have to worry about your flux capacitor and your 1.21 gigawatts before you get anywhere.
Okay, Kate, I have a question for you from chat. Does Kate realize she has glasses on her head as well?
Yeah, no. Shut up. Thank you. Thank you to the chat. Yes, that's fine.
That is
So
King
these,
Eric, the greatest of all, by the way. That's his chat name. So
thanks. Steve. Very love it. So I have these because these are my $2 glasses for when I put these down and I can't find them when these inevitably fall off my face. I'm very bad. I've old technology because I break it. I have crap glasses. So but these are my nice glasses because I'm talking to you and I can see better. So yes, thank you. Glasses.
I like that somebody noticed it. It was fine. They also wanted to know if you were from America, but you are obviously not from America. So
No, I'm from the old country. Yeah. I'm from the UK. I live in the UK and I work for noon till 8 p.m. my time, so that I am awake when MCG are awake. So there's a point where there's only about 2 hours where MCG are not awake as a company, right?
That's right. We spread, even in North America, we're across all time zones
mm-hmm.
because we have been a home company since day one.
Yeah.
And then we have people with different habits. Some people are more like because we're you can work when you want to when you work from home, and some people that work in the evenings and whatnot. So between that, I think we've got somebody working at MCG, as Kate said, probably 22 hours a day. There's somebody on the clock.
That's awesome. It does make it fun when we're trying to schedule chats. We're like, what time zone are you in? Are we -4 here? Are we going in? We had a dance. It took us like 4 weeks to get the demo for, because we kept on like, I fell asleep when I woke up and then I forgot what time it was. And
saving time. This is British summertime. What are we doing here? Where is everybody? Yeah,
it was great.
Brilliant.
Oh, someone said, oh, King Eric wants to know if you're not from America, but from MERCIA, America,
Mercia.
a place in England.
No, I would be not the Kingdom of Mercia. It would be Kingdom of Wessex or the old Kingdom of Wessex. Or Hampshire for anyone else.
There you go.
So the kingdoms in our kingdom. No, a lot of countries in our kingdom too. If you haven't seen Ted Lasso, watch Ted Lasso. It's a great crash course in Britishisms. So
it's the greatest show that I've ever seen.
Brilliant.
It's so fantastic. You did explain a little bit about the Moonbeam features that you jumped in. How did Moonbeam reach out to you, and what was so appealing about that reach out to you that you thought, yeah, we're going to jump in on this on the ground floor? Because there's so many. Yeah.
We were really scared. So we get a lot of people soliciting for things all the time, and a lot of them are like very worthy, but we don't necessarily have the bandwidth for it. But we did the demo with these guys because we were like, I don't know about this, and we got.
So we were approached by people that we knew and said, you should really check. We're associated with this thing. We'd love it if you checked it out. And we were, as Kate was starting to say, a little bit skeptical because for all these reasons, and any platform or any new thing that comes out that relies on network effects. In other words, it's only going to work if lots of people adopt it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard road to hoe these days. So like, even when something is done really, really well, there's no guarantee that means it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
Just because it's reliant on factors that are so hard, you have to kind of catch lightning in a bottle. So, we went into it a little skeptical, but they showed us a great suite of capabilities and a really, really nice platform. And we went from, okay, we'll take this meeting. We're kind of skeptical to
this is
out
awesome.
of the meeting.
How do we get a crowdfunder going in the next couple of weeks before Gen Con?
Right.
That was exciting.
I think the thing that sealed the deal with us, because as I said before, like one of the first responses was, this looks really, really cool, but what would we build with it that would not be in competition with the Cypher Unlimited? So the first thing we did then, let's get on the horn with those guys, wrangle a second demo of this with them, and see if they will like it. And when they saw it too, they also liked it. They said they thought it had a lot of potential, and so that was sort of the thing that made us decide, this is worth going for. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest. We're going to build a great platform, and it's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really, really excited about where it's going and what the opportunities it's going to provide for our community and the streamers in our community and so on. 2 years from now, this thing could be bigger than anything. Or 2 years from now, it could have not caught on, and it could be just dying a slow death. And if that's the case, like, we gave it a shot, right? But I think that the potential is just awesome. Yeah. We have open eyes. We know that things like are hard to make it. It's hard to make it work, even if you do everything right. So we'll see how it goes.
And it's important for folks who are jumping into the crowdfunding. You're giving that to the creators to build this out, and you're giving it to them to make things. So
it's not like the thing that is going to make it work as a community hub isn't the technology, and it's not the skin that we put and our moderation. It's really going to be that streamers come in and do cool stuff, and the community likes being there. And so that's really at this stage what the crowdfunding campaign is all about. It's about additional funds for streamers to give them the resources to, whether it's equipment, talent, compensation for their time, marketing. We're actually not putting, for these two grant pools, we're not really putting any limits on what people can do with that. If a streamer takes this and just says, I got a grant for a couple $1,000 from MSCG, I'm going to spend a weekend in St. Croix. That's cool too, right? Like that's fine. It's the reward for that time, right?
We should all do that,
Yes, absolutely. Back this campaign so we can all have a weekend in St. Croix. No, I mean, like whatever it is, we're not putting restrictions on those streamers, but the idea is to give the streamers the support they need
in order to do something
build in the community.
How will people be able to connect into Moonbeam? Like, will they be able to send in a stream from like some of the online platforms like EV MOOCs or from StreamYard? Like, how are they going to be able to plug in to send their content to Moonbeam instead of YouTube or Twitch? Or
we've been told that integration with things should be super easy, barely an inconvenience, and the whole deal is that,
So we've been told, like, if you use OBS or something like that,
it will straight go in.
It will just go into Moonbeam like it goes to other things.
And the idea is not to be exclusive. So if you are on Twitch and you're doing something else or a different platform, you absolutely can continue. You just also will be able to stream and be part of Moonbeam, and it'll be the Moonbeam channel.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so that's it.
Worth calling out to anybody that is a potential streamer, right? This is a non-exclusive deal. If you want to be involved as part of the Moonbeam streaming community with this grant money or not, or without this grant money or what have you, it's not a problem for you to simultaneously stream to Twitch or YouTube or anything you like. It's
gotcha.
Whatever. You don't have to abandon any existing audience in order to try and capture audience over
it's
here.
the expansion,
which is good. I have people making a whole bunch of comments about Monty Python and eating minstrels, and it's all fun because of Marisha. So I have a question from chat, and then I do want to talk about how people can get involved in the Anywhere door and how they might be able to join in. But I thought this was fun, and I don't want to lose it in chat before we do it. What are your favorite TTRPGs?
Oh, really good question. So I know this sounds lame because we work for them, but we love Cypher System.
I was going to say, if you don't say that, you're literally at the booth right now at Gen Con. You kind of have to. I've always loved Numenera. That's the thing. I'm very excited to play Invisible Sun. So Sean K. Reynolds, who writes one of our designers, writes everything for us as well. He's running an Invisible Sun campaign. We're about to start with a bunch of our MCG mob, which is very cool. I really like the One Ring, so the Free League thing for the One Ring. We played that and stuff. That was very good. Aliens is terrific. Really like the Modiphius Acton Cthulhu. Big fan. This is like a list of things I like. I like role-playing games. I find them fascinating. Really enjoyed the stuff on Blades in the Dark that we do. I love running Star Wars, and that's a Fantasy Flight game, Star Wars, even though throwing dice is a lot more like casting runes to see what happened and working it out. But yeah, I love role-playing. I love the storytelling. If the mechanics also do cool and weird things, that is wonderful. That's
so yes,
awesome.
Storytelling first. Sorry.
How about you, Charles?
So I historically have been all over the map, loved lots of different things. Speaking historically, one of my all-time favorite games is Ars Magica.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly enjoyed. I was deeply involved in D&D during the 3rd edition period, and I really, really liked that from the mechanical tinkering side of things. Although, ironically, once I became really closely involved with Cypher System with the launch of Numenera, it scratches the opposite itch, a very low prep environment that I really enjoy. So I will be perfectly honest. In the last 10 years, I don't know that I've run, other than a couple other things that we make. I don't know that I've really run anything outside of Cypher System. Now, I play lots of different things. So I have run Paranoia under Cypher System. I have run the Orthotep campaign for Call of Cthulhu under Cypher System. I love all kinds of things out there throughout the gaming world, but the impact of Cypher System on GMing, on how easy it is to prep for, convert to,
Well,
run at the table, things off the cuff has means that every single time I look at a new game, I'm like, well, how can I just do this using
yeah.
Cypher System?
Well,
Which
and
is,
I'm going to push up back getting into about the Moonbeam, but explain to people, why is it so easy to prep for a Cypher system or Numenera, which is the same mechanics, but why is
Yeah.
it so easy? Why would people want to jump in on this?
every single thing that the players are going to do that is mechanical is based on a scale of 1 to 10. So if you can say how hard something is on a 1 to 10 scale and you have a cool idea to go with it, you can
You're ready to
resolve
play.
anything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I do, like I said, I remember I loved third edition, but I spent 2 or 3 hours building stock stat blocks before every Friday night session, right? Like for Cypher System, I spend all my time thinking about how I'm going to inject cool twists to the plot, how I'm going to make this creature description even more interesting, or what it does more fascinating. I'm going to make the characters more in depth, the NPCs, because all I need mechanically is a number between 1 and 10, and maybe a few exceptions, right? Like, so maybe this creature is a level 6 creature, but I'm going to say it squirts a spray of acid as a special attack, and that does it as level 7, or you know, it's particularly bumbling at social things. So with the players, if they're smart enough to confront it socially, it's only a level 5. Whatever it is I want to do, a few exceptions and a cool idea and a scale of 1 to number between 1 and 10, and you have a fully functioning encounter. And it works that way at the table too. Players go left, and I only prep for right.
It's fine. Just do it.
Not a problem.
Yeah. And the wonderful thing about it is you can just say yes to your players. Do you want to say yes, even though it's completely bonzo nonsense crazy? The fact is that if you can collaborate and do it, or you suddenly think, you know what, we can come back and do this, and then they do a whole bunch of side quests, because it's side quests, not procrastination, and they come back with the tools because it's a collaborative thing. They can do it together and they can achieve this. And because you've not got hit points and spells or effects as resources, they're all one big pool. It means you can absolutely do the heroic cinematic. It's like the John McClane thing, you know. By the end of it, you might be barefoot and down to your like wife beater vest, but the fact is that you've been able to achieve this. You got like maybe 1 or 2 in each pool because you've taken damage, but you're also using this to do things, so you can do that. And so it was a wonderful thing going around. Cypher System lets you play the character like you stole it. You know, drive it like you stole it. I thought that was spot on, and you can do that. That's our system.
That actually happened. So I'm running a Numenera campaign right now, and for a couple people, they've been in my basic fantasy campaign. That's an online campaign for 3 years, and they're jumping into Numenera. They love it. Another one of my neighbors, it's the first campaign he's ever played in, so he's like I gave him the player's guide, and he's just like taking notes on. He's actually in chat right now. I wonder if he's still watching. But they literally had that. I'm taking them through the Taker of Sorrow adventure, or took them through, and they got to the middle thing and they triggered a fight, and they were 1 roll away from a TPK. Because the Taker started doing the pulse and they kept on hitting him, and the one nano keeps getting taken down. He like dropped below his to be on the damage track, came back up and got knocked back down again. He's like, oh, like, do you have any ciphers? Like, I got this cold emitter. They're like, what are you doing? It's like, use it. He's like, I was saving it. It's like, this is the time, and just saved the day. It was great. So that's exactly, and drive it like you stole it is exactly what it is. It's so much fun to see that happen.
Our Thursday group have just gone. We've just finished like a 4-year 5th edition D&D campaign, and now we're running. So Phil is actually running running Cypher System for Rust and Redemption. And there's a computer game called The Metro, which is actually post-apocalyptic Russia, except he's just reskinned it. So we're doing post-apocalyptic America, but it's all set in New York subways and things like that. And from playing a computer game, he's now got an entire campaign because of Rust and Redemption just immediately set somewhere else, you know. And he's put a lot of work in, more to find cool artwork and things than it is to do any kind of crunch conversion, right?
Yep.
Which is wonderful. And the guys are amazing at that, because it's that, oh, we can do this. Yeah. Oh, well, what do you want to do? Want to do this? You're not limited. It is unlimited. That's why I think Cypher Unlimited works so well, right?
will say if there's folk watching that want more, because I could wax poetic about this for a long time and bore people with old stories about my characters and stuff like that. If you want to find more on the MCG YouTube channel, there is a video that's 8 reasons why this will be your next favorite role-playing game, and it will give you really succinct bullet points of why.
Yeah.
What it is about the Cypher system that is just so much fun for GMs and for players.
And if you want to learn how to run it, KetUp has a great series on how to run Cypher system,
Absolutely.
make creatures and encounters, which is really, really fun. Let's get back to the Anywhere door. We've had our nice. We weren't procrastinating. It was a side quest. My friend Justin did pop into the chat and was like, "That's me." He's like, "I was saving the Cypher." Now I'm going to ask this question of the 2 people who work for the company, just so everybody who wants to get involved in Cypher system or play it at all. Should you ever save a Cypher in Cypher system?
No, you need to treat ciphers as though your GM is your granny, you are all the grandkids, and he is just going to keep giving you those things, and you are going to scoff as many as possible. That's what Cypher should be. It's like, got them, great. Can I use them here? Brilliant. Next one.
Yeah. As a player, the thing that you can do that will most damage your Cypher system game, most slow it down, make it less fun, is think, oh, I could use a Cypher. I better save it for later, right? You'll have something else that's cool later.
Yes.
Because basically I'll drop Cyphers at the drop of a hat. I don't really care. It's like, just have fun. And I got the Cypher deck, so it's fun to randomize them. So don't save your Cyphers. Just use them. Make the big kaboom. It's great. It's fine. And use them creatively. So for now, getting back to the actual quest, people want to get involved in the Anywhere door, and they would like to maybe like, hey, that new streaming grant sounds kind of fun. I would like to try that. How do they get involved in this, and how do they connect with Monte Cook Games to be part of it?
Yep, great question. I'm looking off the side here because I'm scrolling through to see if we have a nice short code for it, but I don't know where the short code is. But certainly,
if you the campaign at the moment,
jumping in on the campaign is a great way to get started and learn more about it. So you go to BACKERKIT.com and look at their crowdfunding campaigns. If you scroll down, you'll see something for the collaborative projects from the Moonbeam collection. It's a couple scrolls down the page.
Okay.
And it's got all the projects on that. You'll find the Anywhere door there. And like I said, I was trying to see, we're at Gen Con doing setup, so I don't have everything right in front of me. I was trying to see if I had a short code instead of trying to read you a long URL.
I have got a short code.
Actually, hold on. Let's see if you're still talking. Yes, I do have I have your thing up right now. So the crowdfunding thing is up.
Yep.
So if you just go to mymcg.info, and then it's /TAD. That's Tango Alpha Delta.
Yep.
So mymcg.info /the Anywhere door. So TAD.
Gotcha. And I'll put that in the description below, folks, for anybody who wants to join in. So really, really exciting. And I know you guys are very, very busy. We had some really funny things that are people talking about on the chat. My chat tends to be people who are like, shiny things, and they go over here and start talking about that.
Which is
like, there's shiny things to buy. It's great. Are there any, so you have the Anywhere door coming up. You just got done the Kickstarter for Gunslinger Knights, and what was the other one?
Yeah, Knights of Neon Rain, and High Noon.
Yeah.
So what's
2 more white?
What's your next project that you're coming out with? Next books that you're planning?
So I was going to say this month, but tomorrow is this month in August.
Yeah.
In August, we are launching Old Gods of Appalachia Deeper Still. So more content for the Old Gods of Appalachia RPG. You can go sign up for that right this very minute, and you'll get notified. And there's a really, really fantastic free thing you get with your pledge if you sign up to be notified before. So that's just a matter of weeks for that one.
Okay.
And then the Magnus Archives will be out in the autumn. I'm sorry. So just a few months away from that. So that's backers can look forward to that.
Cool.
It's a matter of it's about to go to press. I think we're proofing it right now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which is very cool.
When is Gunslinger Knights going to end up going to press? Is that by late?
Those are books from the Knights of Dust and Neon campaign.
Yeah.
We call it Kodan.
Okay.
The Kodan books are late spring into early summer of next year.
Gotcha. I'm looking forward to picking one of those up because Gunslinger Nights is just
It's
like, that sounds fun. I'll try that.
very cool. And Bruce is actually here. So Bruce has done all the writing on that with other designers. He's leading on that one. And he's actually running a couple of the games of the Gunslinger Nights at Gen Con. So it's actually from the Adventures in the Cypher system. It's High Noon at Midnight, but it's the thing which has inspired the Gunslinger stuff here. So he'll be doing the Weird West.
Okay.
And then the Knights of Dust and Neon will be a next year thing for that one. That looks really cool though. Monty's been sharing a whole bunch of stuff which we can't tell you anything about, but it's really cool.
Yep.
Well,
So
no, that's not good. I have to poke now.
I keep trying to say, oh, it's just no, I can't tell you that.
Well, and the current campaign you have successfully funded, correct? You're now working towards stretch goal.
Yeah.
How far away
Yes.
are you, and how many days do people have to help you reach it?
That's a very good question.
I believe they have till the end of next week, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a week or 10 days left, or a week or 8 days, something like that, left to get on board. But so
9 days left.
9 days left. Okay, there
9
we go.
days left.
And it is funded. We are stretching out for that stretch goal, which will do the MCG match for all of the funds so every at this stage, pretty much every dollar that goes in is going to go to those creator funds.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we get to 19K, MCG will double all of that.
Yeah.
That's
Which is good. And we're at 16 and a bit at the moment.
Yeah, sounds right.
so.
Yeah.
Well, I do hope that you reach it, and not just because my name's actually on the page. But I do, and thank you so much for your generosity to the wider gaming community with the Cypher system content that's available for free, the partnerships that you created for folks like Cypher Unlimited, and for being so kind to little itty bitty streamers like me. It really is helpful, and it's a lot of kindness that we appreciate deeply. I really hope you have a wonderful time at Gen Con.
It's going to be amazing.
Hope so, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Should be.
How many days is your recovery after the event gets done?
Well, so Gen Con closes at 4 p.m. on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
We travel all day Monday. We unload a truck and start putting stuff away on a Tuesday. So the event doesn't actually end for us until about Wednesday. And then, at that point, we've all been out, away from our regular jobs for the better part of 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so
easily.
And
then I have to travel back to the future, to the UK, and then there's about 2 or 3 days of jet lag where I don't know what day it is. So, yeah, so it's a bit exciting.
So, folks, be very kind to the people who are running the booths at the at conventions, because the event is not their thing. They go days afterwards and days before. So, be very nice to them. They're doing nice things and
We are
bringing
very
nice shiny stuff.
Yeah, we are extremely privileged that our fans and our community are thoroughly lovely people.
That's awesome.
Just like huge outpourings of love. Very, very, very impressed with them. Great human beings.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to do a little bit of an out really quick, but please stay on in the chat just so I can say goodbye to you properly when we get done. Just a couple of seconds. Folks, thank you so much for being part of the stream in the chat and for doing crazy comments and talking about Monty Python. You'll have to watch the chat replay at some point, which would be great. I will talk with you both in a second, and let me say goodbye to everybody else. So, folks, thank you so much for coming on. I know I was a little bit discombobulated just because of dad mode kicking in about 10 minutes before, 15 minutes before we were going to sit down to chat. But it was a wonderful conversation. The Anywhere door is a really cool idea. I think that's a really cool idea, even despite the fact that I've been invited to be connected to it in some small little way. I got some cool ideas to put stuff on there. And if you're interested in doing that and seeing this new streaming platform take off, do consider to give to the Backer Kit. I'm going to put the link in the description below when I get off with here. And if you're interested in being a streamer and get one of those new streaming grants, go ahead to the link and join for that as well. I got some cool things coming up. On Monday, I'm going to be talking to Ron from the Philly Area Gaming Expo to talk about all that's going on. And at this point, it's almost like who's not going to be at the Philly Area Gaming Expo in January next year. So please come in and tune in for that. It should be a lot of fun, and some more reviews coming up for Independent RPG Month. It has been a blast talking to Kate and to Charles and to seeing all of your comments in there. Until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.